Tron, I thought you'd be scrap metal by now. Your survival intrigues me.
I shall not be denied, Starscream. Surrender your Dark Energon program to me immediately!
Dark Energon? Are you mad? Dark Energon brings only death and chaos.
I am counting on it. Megatron, when this is over, can I rip off Starscream's head and boot it into space, please? Patience, Brawl. Starscream knows this station inside and out. He may yet be of use to us. Ready, enemy car approaching! Ready to fire?
Yeah, that's pretty typical of both Starscream and Megatron, if you ask me, and fairly typical of Brawl as well, even though I'm not sure he'd actually say please to anything. I'm not sure he knows the word. But still, it was a little cool touch that I didn't mind. But yeah, the basics were there, and they did improve the art pretty quickly, and well, another thing that kinda bothered me about the original comics is how the cassette transformers like Laser, Big Buzzsaw and Ravage that in the full syndication pretty much just communicate through animal noises that only Soundwave can understand.
That's a pretty long drop.
They can talk, and well, it's just as weird every time I see it.
Megatron, how do we get out?
Turret.
Cozy in here!
Let's see.
The intruders are here! Call in reinforcements!
Decepticons, mount those turrets! We'll cut them down with their own weaponry! This is way more...
They also did some stuff with tying it into the Marvel universe, like when the Decepticons have their first open attack, S.H.I.E.L.D. get contacted and try to consider who to put on the scene, and well, the Daily Bugle sent Peter Parker to do a story on everything, and of course he changes into Spider-Man costume and actually helps out the Transformers with rescuing one of their rescuing a human who was
The fools gave us our exit. Onward, through that door!
Who was kidnapped, which was actually Sparkplug with Wiki, who is Spike with Wiki's father. And they are the first human allies the Autobots get, and really the first champions that not all Transformers are evil, which was a topic in the comics early on. But yeah, as soon as the series hit full syndication, no mention of it being part of the Marvel series showed up ever again. They just quietly dropped the subject as if it was of little consequence and not something they actually wanted it actually wanted.
I love ammo, but then who doesn't?
So yeah, that was some funny things. I still remember Megatron's reaction to being caught up in Spider-Man's webs. He actually had the symbiote costume at the time, so his webbing was stronger than normal, but even so, Megatron just completely snapped it and went berserk because of it.
Pull back! Pull back!
Area is secured, Megatron.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about how Transformers got started.
Let us let their fury subside!
Killing all these guys, there's really no point to it, especially not on the PC. Because on the Xbox you get an achievement if you remember to kill all of the prisoners, no mercy or something like that.
Do not let that fury subside!
And I do think Megatron actually comments on if you get on the elevator, and there's also a conversation going to happen now, so I'll be shutting up again.
My name is Jetfire. I'm not here to fight.
That makes one of us. Speak your piece, quickly.
I've seen the horrors of what Dark Energon can do, Megatron. It is not to be trifled with. Its power is too unstable. To use it would mean disaster.
You cannot frighten me, Jetfire. I will use Dark Energon as I please.
You are a short-sighted fool. You'll kill us all!
You say that as if it were a bad thing.
I hope this Dark Energon stuff is worth it, Megatron.
I kind of wonder if Jetfire is a bit smaller than he is in either the comics or the animated series, but I can't be completely sure. Okay, let's trigger this.
Soundwave, report.
We have taken control of this portion of the station and established our base of operations. Scans indicate that Starscream has locked down all logical routes to the Dark Energon reactor.
And we're fresh out of Star Cruisers to tunnel our way.
Quiet. There must be another access point. We have to reach the station's next pod.
Megatron, I have located a nearby data matrix center to reveal any alternate means of entry to the next pod. Advanced teams have already been set to clear your path.
Then we have no time to waste.
There we go, the Energon Battle Pistols. One of the better weapons of the game, actually. Yeah, I feel I've covered how Transformers got started pretty well, so let's talk about why Barricade is a bit of a curious choice for the third Transformer of the opening mission. See, in the original comics, Barricade was a Micromaster and came into the series very late. So late that he really only featured in the Japanese series, which went on for a bit longer than the American one did.
All of them. I shall await your word that you've reached the data matrix center.
And basically, Micromasters were a result of Cybertron's energy crisis. After the original Transformers went and crash-landed on Earth, the ones who left were still on a slowly dying Cybertron, so...
That's one to write home about!
So, fuel was a concern. There just wasn't enough energon going around to keep everyone at full operation. So a lot of Transformers went through a voluntary Micromaster process to be miniaturized to reduce their fuel requirements. And the first mission to introduce... the first issue to introduce that in the comics is also the same issue that first introduces the Decepticon Pretenders, I believe. Oh, you're in the way, Megatron. I am a terrible shot.
Not as good as me, but not bad.
That was your fault, Barricade. But yeah, the Barricade really wasn't a big figure in the comics or the animated series, so his inclusion here when the game is so firmly targeted at Generation 1 fans is more than a little peculiar. Still, it is kinda cool to see Barricade before he becomes miniaturized, which is something, but I do believe the real reason he's part of this is because Barricade was really one of the main Transformers of the first Michael Bay Transformers movie. And the less said about that one, the better. I really don't like the Bayformers movies. I find them despicable, to say the least.
Weapons overheated!
What? That should have hit. Okay, missile guy, down.
Down he goes! At least you can shoot straight.
So yeah, I guess they wanted to try to appease both fan bases, possibly. Ooh, grenades. I never remember to use grenades, but at least I have them. So yeah, what's this? Oh, whoa, whoa. Move! Yeah, there are some bugs in this game, and I seem to run into more of them as I'm streaming than I ever did when actually playing, which is a strange but not unknown phenomenon.
Just look at that guy. Oh yeah, right through the processor.
Well, now that we've covered how Transformers came to be and why Barricade is probably in this game, let's talk a bit about Megatron's origins, because they have been
But then who doesn't?
they have been the subject of a lot of change over the years. I see.